were joking, because Sharon always jokes with me anyway. And she called me one day and told me, and...
In the pantheon of guitar legends, few figures commanded as much respect for pure musical artistry as Randy Rhoads. The classically trained virtuoso who revolutionized heavy metal guitar.
And they were different from anybody else I had seen in a club because they were already projecting an arena band image.
Wasn't just a technical master who seamlessly blended classical composition with crushing metal power. He was also a perfectionist with impossibly high standards who harbored serious contempt for bands he saw as musically lazy, artistically shallow, and fundamentally disrespectful to the craft of making music. Behind the blazing solos and innovative compositions lurked a conservatory-educated musician who viewed rock as a serious art form requiring discipline, study, and genuine innovation. Rhoads didn't just dislike certain approaches to music. He actively despised what he saw as anti-intellectual attitudes and deliberate amateurism that made a mockery of everything he believed music should represent. Welcome to another explosive episode where we expose the hidden opinions of rock's most respected guitarist. Today we're revealing the shocking truth about the 6 bands that reportedly made Randy Rhoads see red. The California native who gave us classics like Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley before his tragic death had some very strong opinions about musical integrity. And trust me, he wasn't afraid to express his contempt for bands he considered beneath serious consideration. These weren't just creative differences or stylistic preferences. These were fundamental philosophical wars about what music should be. Genuine artistry versus manufactured entertainment, disciplined craftsmanship versus deliberate primitivism, and classical innovation versus anti-intellectual rebellion. The guitar genius apparently kept a very specific enemies list of everything he thought was wrong with rock music. Number 6. Kiss, coming in at number 6 on our countdown, is a name that represents everything Randy Rhoads allegedly despised about rock music's transformation into theatrical entertainment. Kiss, the makeup-wearing shock rockers who dominated 1970s arena rock.
Still, I didn't believe it, because I'm really proud and honored, and I don't want to stop here,
Reportedly became one of Rhoads' most contemptuous targets through what he saw as the complete triumph of image over musical substance. The animosity allegedly began in the mid-1970s when Rhoads was developing his classical metal fusion approach, while Kiss was achieving massive commercial success through elaborate stage shows. According to guitar instructor Scott Shelley, who studied with Rhoads, the guitarist reportedly told students, "Kiss represents everything wrong with rock music's evolution. They've turned serious musical expression into a cartoon show for people who are afraid of real artistry." What particularly infuriated Rhoads was Kiss's approach to musicianship and composition. While Rhoads spent hours daily practicing classical pieces and developing sophisticated metal arrangements, Kiss was achieving superstar status with what Rhoads reportedly called three-chord theater, simplistic songs that prioritized visual spectacle over musical innovation or technical excellence. The tension reportedly came to a head during a 1978 backstage encounter at a Los Angeles venue where Rhoads allegedly confronted Gene Simmons about Kiss's musical approach. Industry witnesses claim Rhoads made cutting remarks about musicians who've confused entertainment with art, leading to an uncomfortable exchange that ended with Rhoads walking away in disgust. For Rhoads, Kiss apparently represented the complete commercialization of rock's artistic potential. Friends claim he saw them as turning genuine musical expression into what he allegedly called musical fast food for people who don't want to think, making their success a betrayal of everything rock guitar could achieve when approached with classical discipline and innovative spirit. Number 5. Van Halen landing at number 5 is perhaps the most shocking guitar rivalry in rock history. Van Halen, the innovative party rockers who revolutionized rock guitar with Eddie's finger-tapping technique.
Glad all over. Boom, 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 boom. Immediately we said, okay, enough piano.
reportedly became a source of deep frustration for Randy Rhoads, who saw their approach as everything wrong with technical innovation without compositional substance. The conflict allegedly began after Van Halen's explosive 1978 debut album transformed rock guitar expectations. According to Quiet Riot bandmate Kevin Dubrow, Rhoads reportedly told fellow musicians, "Eddie's got incredible technique, but he's wasting it on party music for drunk teenagers. Real guitar innovation should serve compositional advancement, not just show off athletic ability." What bothered Rhoads wasn't Van Halen's technical prowess, but what he saw as their fundamental misunderstanding of guitar's role in serious music. While Rhoads was developing classical-influenced metal compositions that pushed heavy music into sophisticated territory, Van Halen was achieving massive success with what Rhoads reportedly called fraternity house rock. Technically impressive but compositionally shallow music designed for maximum party appeal. The animosity reportedly reached its peak during a 1980 recording session where both guitarists were working in nearby studios. Industry witnesses claim Rhoads made pointed comments about guitarists who've confused showing off with actual musical contribution, leading to tension when the Van Halen camp overheard the remarks. Number 4. AC/DC. Crashing in at number 4 is the ultimate clash between musical sophistication and deliberate simplicity. AC/DC, the Australian hard rock titans known for their stripped-down, three-chord approach to heavy music.
I think why they keep coming, because they say, well, if I go see AC/DC, I know what I'm gonna get.
Reportedly drove Randy Rhoads to absolute fury with what he saw as willful musical primitivism that held back rock's artistic evolution. The hatred allegedly began in the late 1970s when both acts were defining different approaches to heavy music. According to Ozzy Osbourne's bassist Bob Daisley, Rhoads reportedly told bandmates, "AC/DC have turned musical limitation into a bloody art form. They're proud of being primitive when rock music could be so much more sophisticated and beautiful." What particularly galled Rhoads was AC/DC's philosophy of musical minimalism. While Rhoads was incorporating classical elements, complex harmonies, and sophisticated arrangements into heavy metal, AC/DC was achieving massive success with what Rhoads reportedly called caveman rock, deliberately simple compositions that rejected any musical advancement or technical development. The tension reportedly exploded during a 1981 backstage encounter at a European festival where both acts were performing. Industry witnesses claim Rhoads made deliberately provocative comments about bands who've given up on musical growth, leading to a heated exchange when AC/DC members overheard his assessment of their approach. The rivalry wasn't just about musical complexity, it was about rock's artistic potential. Rhoads reportedly saw AC/DC as representing everything anti-intellectual about rock culture, turning musical ignorance into what he allegedly called a badge of honor for people who are afraid of learning. For the conservatory-trained guitarist, AC/DC had apparently chosen to remain musically stunted when they possessed the platform to elevate rock music to genuine artistic heights. Number 3. The Ramones sliding into number 3 is perhaps the most philosophically opposed feud on our list. The Ramones, the Queen's punk pioneers who deliberately embraced musical simplicity and anti-virtuosity.
I don't want to break up, but John and Joey do.
They do.
And
Joey's for real?
I feel it's the wrong time because
here he
of
is.
all this resurgence. Yeah.
Reportedly became Randy Rhoads' most despised band through what he saw as their celebration of musical ignorance and deliberate artistic regression. The animosity allegedly began in the mid-1970s when punk was emerging as a reaction against rock's increasing complexity. According to classical guitar teacher Laurie Lindstruth, who worked with Rhoads, he reportedly told students, "The Ramones represent everything wrong with rock's anti-intellectual movement. They're proud of not knowing how to play their instruments when music should be about constantly improving and learning." What infuriated Rhoads was punk's entire philosophical approach to musicianship. While Rhoads spent years studying classical composition and developing innovative metal techniques, the Ramones were achieving cult status with what Rhoads reportedly called musical vandalism, three-chord songs that deliberately rejected any technical advancement or compositional sophistication. The conflict reportedly came to a head during a 1978 New York club encounter, where Rhoads witnessed the Ramones' deliberately sloppy performance. Industry witnesses claim he was visibly disgusted, allegedly telling companions, "They're making musical incompetence into a movement." Real rebellion would be pushing music forward, not dragging it backwards into primitive noise. Number 2. Black Flag. Burning into number 2 is the ultimate clash between musical beauty and aggressive chaos. Black Flag, the hardcore punk destroyers known for their crushing, atonal approach to heavy music.
When did you realize that like you guys were really on to something?
Well, Black Flag had a very interesting history in that they were around before I was.
Reportedly became Randy Rhoads' most feared enemy through what he saw as their complete abandonment of melody, harmony, and everything that made music emotionally meaningful. The feud allegedly began in the early 1980s when hardcore punk was emerging as an even more extreme reaction against musical sophistication. According to Blizzard of Oz drummer Lee Kerslake, Rhoads reportedly told bandmates, "Black Flag have turned music into pure aggression without any beauty or artistry. They're destroying everything that makes heavy music emotionally powerful and replacing it with mindless violence." What made Rhoads' hatred particularly intense was Black Flag's approach to heavy music composition. While Rhoads was creating beautiful, melodic heavy metal that combined crushing power with classical sophistication, Black Flag was achieving underground success with what Rhoads reportedly called musical terrorism, deliberately harsh compositions that rejected melody, harmony, and traditional song structure in favor of pure sonic assault. The animosity reportedly exploded during a 1981 Los Angeles club show where Rhoads witnessed Black Flag's destructive performance style. Industry witnesses claim he was appalled by their approach, allegedly telling friends, "They're confusing noise with music and violence with emotion. Real heavy music should crush you and lift you up simultaneously, not just beat you into submission." The rivalry represented the fundamental question of heavy music's artistic purpose. Rhoads reportedly saw Black Flag as representing everything wrong with punk's evolution, turning authentic musical rebellion into what he allegedly called organized musical chaos for people who hate the idea that music should be beautiful. Number 1. The Sex Pistols. Taking the top spot in our countdown is the ultimate betrayal of everything Randy Rhoads believed about authentic musical rebellion. The Sex Pistols, the supposedly anarchic pioneers of British punk, reportedly became Rhoads' most hated band after he discovered what he saw as the ultimate fraud.
I love the people I work with, I love the people that are my family members, and I particularly
manufactured rebellion that made a mockery of genuine artistic innovation and musical integrity. The hatred allegedly began in 1976 when Rhoads was developing his classical metal fusion, while the Sex Pistols were achieving notoriety through calculated controversy. According to Quiet Riot guitarist Carlos Cavazo, Rhoads reportedly told fellow musicians, "The Sex Pistols aren't rebels, they're actors playing rebels for people who don't know what real musical rebellion looks like." True artistic rebellion means pushing music forward, not destroying it for publicity. What made Rhoads' contempt particularly venomous was his belief that the Sex Pistols had poisoned rock's entire approach to innovation and artistry. While Rhoads was trying to elevate heavy music through classical education and technical excellence, the Sex Pistols were achieving global fame with what Rhoads reportedly called anti-music for anti-intellectual posers, deliberately crude performances designed to reject everything sophisticated about rock's artistic potential. The animosity reportedly reached nuclear levels when Rhoads learned about Malcolm McLaren's role in manufacturing the band's image and controversy. Industry insiders claim he felt personally betrayed by rock culture's acceptance of fake rebellion, allegedly telling students, "They've convinced an entire generation that musical ignorance equals authenticity and that destroying art is the same as creating it." And there you have it, the 6 bands that made Randy Rhoads' perfectionist blood boil. Which betrayal of musical artistry shocked you most? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button, and subscribe for more explosive rock revelations.